If your strawberry plants are covered in healthy green leaves, but the berries never seem to get bigger than a marble, the problem probably isn't the variety you planted. In fact, some of the most common causes of tiny strawberries are happening below the soil, or even before the flowers are fully pollinated. That's why simply adding more fertilizer often makes the situation worse instead of better. Here's what surprises many experienced gardeners. A strawberry plant can look vigorous while quietly sending most of its energy into producing leaves instead of filling fruit. Too much nitrogen, inconsistent watering, tired old crowns, weak pollination, exhausted soil biology, even a stretch of hot weather can all work together to limit berry size. Tiny strawberries are usually the result of several small problems, not one big one. Now here's where a simple kitchen combination has caught the attention of many longtime gardeners. When used carefully and only under the right conditions, a mixture made from banana peel tea and a small amount of clean wood ash may help support flowering and fruit development by supplying nutrients that strawberries often need later in the season. But there's a catch. Most people prepare it incorrectly, apply at the wrong time, or use far too much wood ash, which can actually reduce nutrient availability instead of improving it. Before you try it, there's one important detail about strawberry nutrition that almost every gardening video skips. And understanding that difference is what separates plants that produce handfuls of tiny berries from those that have the best chance of developing larger, sweeter fruit. The first thing to understand is that strawberries don't decide fruit size overnight. The process actually begins weeks before you ever pick a berry. As flower buds form, the plant is already deciding how it will divide its energy between growing new leaves, sending out runners, expanding roots, and developing fruit. Gardeners often notice the small berries at harvest, but the real cause usually started much earlier. One of the biggest reasons tiny strawberries appear is an imbalance between growth and fruit production. Nitrogen is essential because it builds chlorophyll and fuels photosynthesis, but too much of it encourages lush, dark green foliage. That looks impressive from across the yard, yet those extra leaves become powerful sinks for the sugars the plant produces. Instead of moving enough carbohydrates into developing berries, the plant may invest more of its resources in vegetative growth. The result can be healthy-looking plants with small strawberry fruit. But nitrogen isn't the only nutrient involved. Potassium plays a very different role. Rather than making leaves grow faster, potassium helps regulate water movement inside plant cells and supports the transport of sugars from the leaves into developing fruit. That's one reason strawberries often benefit from balanced fertility as they move from flowering into fruit production, not simply from feeding them more fertilizer. There's another nutrient that's easy to overlook. Phosphorus supports healthy root development and helps the plant capture the water and minerals it needs during flowering and early fruit formation. If the root system is underperforming, the berries may never reach their full potential, even if the leaves appear perfectly healthy. But before you assume nutrition is a whole story, there's another mistake many gardeners overlook. You can have fertile soil, apply the right fertilizer, and still harvest disappointing berries if one critical step in the flowering stage doesn't happen properly. That's where pollination changes everything, and it's often a hidden reason otherwise healthy plants produce undersized fruit. That hidden step is pollination, and it's one of the most overlooked reasons why strawberries stay small. Every strawberry flower contains dozens, sometimes hundreds, of tiny individual pistils. Each one needs to be pollinated for the berry to develop evenly. If only part of the flower is successfully pollinated, only part of the fruit receives a signal to grow. The result is often a berry that's not only smaller than expected, but also lopsided or misshapen. Cool, rainy weather during bloom can reduce bee activity. Extended heat can shorten the life of pollen. Even a garden with very few pollinators can quietly reduce fruit size without showing any obvious signs on the plant itself. That's why experienced growers pay close attention to flowering conditions instead of focusing only on what happens after berries begin to form. But pollination isn't the only competition happening. The strawberry plant is constantly deciding where its energy goes. If it's producing long runners while trying to fill developing fruit, those runners become another demand on the plant's stored sugars and nutrients. Think of them as extra mouths to feed. Unless you're growing new plants intentionally, allowing runner after runner to develop during fruiting often means fewer resources are available for enlarging the berries already on the plant. Age also matters more than many gardeners realize. Strawberry crowns become less productive over time. As crowns age, they often produce smaller fruit, even when they're growing in good soil with regular watering. That's one reason many commercial growers renovate or replace plants after a few productive seasons rather than expecting peak harvest indefinitely. So by this point, we've uncovered several causes that can work together: nutrient balance, pollination, runner competition, and aging crowns. But there's another factor that can undo all your hard work in just a few hot afternoons, and it has everything to do with what happens around the roots. That's also where the banana peel tea and wood ash approach can either help or create new problems if it's used at the wrong time. That factor is root zone moisture. Strawberries have relatively shallow root systems, especially in container strawberries and raised beds where the soil warms and dries much faster than garden ground. If the soil swings from very dry to soaking wet, the plant has to keep adjusting its water balance instead of consistently filling fruit. Even a few days of drought stress during berry development can limit cell expansion, and once that opportunity is lost, the berries usually don't catch up later. Heat makes this even more challenging. On hot, sunny days, strawberry plants lose water through their leaves much faster than many gardeners realize. When moisture becomes limited, the plant naturally prioritizes survival over producing large fruit. Stomata, the tiny pores on the leaves, begin to close to reduce water loss. That also slows photosynthesis, meaning fewer sugars are produced for developing berries. It's one reason a healthy-looking plant can suddenly stop sizing up its fruit during a heat wave. This is also why feeding a thirsty plant is a common mistake. If the soil is dry, nutrients are harder for roots to absorb efficiently, and concentrated amendments can place additional stress on the root zone. That's why any fertilizer or kitchen garden trick works best when the soil is already lightly moist, not bone dry. Now, let's talk about the featured combination. Banana peel tea isn't a miracle fertilizer, and it's often exaggerated online. As banana peels break down or soak in water, they release small amounts of nutrients and organic compounds. But the exact nutrient content varies. On its own, it isn't a complete fertilizer and shouldn't replace a balanced feeding program. The second ingredient, however, deserves even more respect. Clean, untreated wood ash can provide potassium and calcium, two nutrients that may support fruit development under the right soil conditions. But because wood ash also raises soil pH, using too much can reduce the availability of important nutrients. Since strawberries grow best in slightly acidic soil, moderation isn't just good advice, it's essential. In the next section, I'll show you exactly how to prepare this mixture, the safest amount to use, and the one-time mistake that causes many gardeners to see little benefit or even set their plants back. Now for the method, and this is where being precise matters more than adding extra ingredients. Start with one fresh or dried banana peel. Cut it into small pieces to expose more surface area. Then place in about 1 quart, roughly 1 liter, of clean water. Let it soak for 24 to 48 hours at room temperature. A longer soak isn't necessarily better. After a couple of days, the water can begin to ferment, creating odors without providing a clear nutritional advantage. Once it's finished soaking, strain out the peel pieces. They don't need to be thrown away. You can add them to a compost pile where they'll continue breaking down naturally. What you're left with is a mild banana peel infusion, not a concentrated fertilizer. Now comes the ingredient that requires the most restraint. Wood ash. Use only clean ash from untreated, unpainted natural wood. Never use ash from charcoal briquettes, pressure-treated lumber, painted wood, plywood, or anything that may contain chemicals or binders. For about 1 quart of strained banana peel tea, stir in no more than 1 level teaspoon of finely sifted wood ash. That's enough to lightly enrich the solution without making it overly alkaline. If the ash doesn't dissolve completely, that's normal. Give it a gentle stir before each use. Before applying it, water the strawberry bed if the soil feels dry a couple of inches below the surface. The root zone should be evenly moist, not saturated. Applying even a mild nutrient solution to drought-stressed roots can reduce uptake and place unnecessary stress on the plant. The best time to use this mixture is early in the morning or late in the evening, when temperatures are cooler and the plant is under less water stress. Avoid applying it during the hottest part of the day, when roots and leaves are already working hard to cope with heat. But the amount you apply, and just as importantly, when you stop applying it, can make the difference between supporting healthy fruit development and gradually pushing your soil out of balance. That's the detail we'll cover next. When it comes to application, more is definitely not better. Strawberries don't need large amounts of this mixture, and overusing can do more harm than good. For a mature plant growing in the ground or a raised bed, apply about 1/2 to 1 cup of prepared solution around the base of the plant. Pour it onto the soil, not over the leaves, flowers, or developing berries. This encourages the roots to access the nutrients while keeping the fruit clean and reducing unnecessary moisture on the foliage. For container strawberries, use a little less, around 1/4 to 1/2 cup per plant, depending on the pot size. Containers hold a limited volume of soil, so changes in pH and nutrient concentration happen much faster than they do in a garden bed. Timing is just as important as quantity. This mixture is most appropriate after plants are well established and beginning to flower, or when small green berries are starting to develop. At that stage, the plant is shifting more of its energy toward fruit production, and potassium becomes increasingly important for moving sugars and regulating water within the plant. Avoid applying it every week. For most home gardens, once every 3 to 4 weeks during the fruiting period is a conservative approach, provided your soil isn't already alkaline and your plants are otherwise healthy. Results will always depend on your existing soil fertility, pH, weather, and overall plant care. There are also times when you shouldn't use it. If a soil test shows your soil is already neutral to alkaline, adding wood ash may raise the pH beyond the range strawberries prefer, making nutrients like iron and manganese less available. Plants may respond with pale or yellowing young leaves, not because the soil lacks nutrients, but because the roots can no longer access them efficiently. Another situation to avoid is applying this mixture to newly planted strawberries that are still establishing roots. Young plants benefit more from consistent moisture and balanced nutrition than from supplemental amendments. So, how do you know whether your approach is actually helping? The plant usually gives subtle clues long before harvest, and recognizing those signs can prevent both underfeeding and overdoing it. The first signs of improvement usually aren't bigger berries overnight. Instead, look for steady, balanced growth. New leaves should emerge a healthy green without becoming excessively lush. Flower clusters should continue opening, and the small green berries should begin enlarging at a consistent pace rather than stalling for days. As the fruit ripens, you may also notice berries filling out more evenly. While genetics still determine the maximum size a variety can reach, a plant with balanced nutrition, reliable moisture, and good pollination has a much better chance of reaching that potential. Just as important is knowing when to stop. Once the main crop is nearing harvest, there's little benefit in continuing to add supplemental potassium from wood ash. At that point, the plant has already invested most of its resources into the developing fruit. Repeated applications only increase the risk of gradually raising soil pH without providing meaningful gains. Watch for warning signs that you've gone too far. A white or gray ash layer lingering on the soil surface after each application is one clue that more ash is being added than the soil needs. If newer leaves begin showing yellowing between the veins while older leaves remain green, especially in soils that were already close to neutral, an elevated pH could be limiting the availability of certain micronutrients. Those symptoms don't automatically mean wood ash is the cause, but they're a good reason to pause additional applications and evaluate your soil rather than adding even more amendments. There's another habit that quietly affects grow bigger strawberries goals. Harvesting. Leaving fully ripe berries on the plant for too long means the plant continues directing energy toward fruit that's already mature instead of focusing on younger berries still developing. Picking ripe fruit regularly encourages the plant to keep moving resources where they're needed most during the harvest season. And finally, remember that even the best nutrient strategy can't overcome poor growing conditions. One often overlooked factor still ties everything together, and it's the reason commercial growers pay so much attention to sunlight, spacing, and overall plant management instead of relying on any single fertilizer. That's where we'll finish the story. The final piece is understanding that strawberries are not simply hungry plants waiting for the right ingredient. They are small fruit-producing systems where everything has to work together. A strawberry plant needs enough sunlight to create energy through photosynthesis, enough healthy roots to absorb water and minerals, enough flowers to be properly pollinated, and enough leaf area to send sugars into developing fruit. But too many runners, overcrowded crowns, exhausted soil, or poor spacing can interrupt that balance. This is especially important in older raised beds and containers. After several seasons, strawberry plants can slowly drain available nutrients, and the soil structure can change. Organic matter may decline, drainage may worsen, and the root environment may become less supportive. Sometimes the best improvement isn't adding another ingredient. It's refreshing the soil, dividing crowded plants, replacing aging crowns, or giving roots a better environment. The banana peel tea and wood ash combination can be a useful tool when it matches your soil conditions. It may provide some potassium and calcium support during fruiting, but it works as part of a complete system, not as a replacement for good gardening practices. A kitchen garden trick is only effective when the foundation is already strong. So if your strawberry harvest has been disappointing, don't just ask, "What fertilizer should I add?" Ask better questions. Are my plants getting enough sun? Are they staying evenly watered? Are flowers being pollinated? Is my soil still suitable for strawberries? Are my plants competing with too many runners or aging crowns? Because the biggest strawberries usually don't come from one secret ingredient. They come from understanding what the plant needs at each stage of growth and making small adjustments at the right time. If this helped you look at your strawberry plants differently, consider subscribing for more science-based gardening videos. And if you're growing strawberries in containers or raised beds, the next video on improving fruit production will help you get even more from the plants you already have.